So we just watched episode 4 of Loki, the Nexus event, and all I can say is, what? 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 Review starts now! Okay, I'm just gonna say, there's at least 6 things in this episode that could have just on their own been like, wow, what the fuck? And then, boom, that ending, and then, boom, that cutscene. What? So, let's just get started. So, today, on this episode, we pick up right at the end of Lamentus, where Loki and Sylvie are watching, Lamentus be destroyed. And one thing we can dispel right off the bat is Loki clearly didn't have the time stone. I know a lot of people were curious about that at the end of the last episode, where it seemed like he rewound a tower falling on him. We're just going to call that part of his moveset, because if he had the time stone, clearly he was going to use it. Or was he? No. Clearly he would have used it. It felt like at a moment at the end he was going to confess that he had the time stone, although it wouldn't have done him a lot of good where he was, but then he claimed it seemed like he was going somewhere else with this, and then we're going to talk about that. So, right there, Loki and Sylvie are bonding, and as they bond, a red line is approaching back at the TVA that's going to disrupt the Secret Timeline, and this picks up the attention of Judge Ravenna Renslayer and Mobius, who were able to track them, find them, and open up a couple of Tempad doors to bring them back to the TVA, where they are being separately interrogated. Along the way, Mobius finds out from Judge Renslayer that Hunter C-20 was pruned, destroyed by Sylvie. The effects of her enchantment were somehow lethal to her, and Mobius kind of like, wow, I just didn't know that could happen, and he didn't say that, but we were waiting for a wow at some point. Anyway, it doesn't happen, but he ends up putting Loki in a temporary prison. But before that, here's a fun little thing. We find out that at the TVA, they have previously interrogated the Kree, they have interrogated Titans, and they have interrogated vampires. Loki, episode 4, the Nexus event, is the first canonical evidence of vampires in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this opens up the door to Dracula, Blade, etc. So now we know vampires exist in the MCU, which is kind of awesome. There it is, canonical evidence. Wow! So Loki ends up getting, he's going to be interrogated by Mobius, but first he puts him in a time cell, which is basically a loop of a terrible repeated memory. And in this the terrible repeated memory that Loki ends up being placed in, he is back on Asgard, and we get a special guest appearance from Jamie Alexander as Lady Sif. This is the first time Lady Sif has, Jamie Alexander has played Lady Sif since season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and before that, Thor the Dark World. It should also be noted that Lady Sif is the only surviving member of the Warriors 3. Rest in peace, Hogun. Rest in peace, our other, warriors who we enjoy. She's not really a member of the Warriors 3. She's Warriors 3 adjacent, but, we miss these guys. Zachary Levi's off doing better things, and so is Tadanobu Osano. And, anyway. So, vampires exist. Lady Sif is torturing Loki through a repeated memory where he cut her hair off sometime on Asgard. He calls him a pathetic, craven coward, and punches him several times and knees him in the nads. And this is on a loop over and over and over again. There's one point where he thinks he's kind of turned her way, and she still picks him up, knees him in the nads. Anyway, at the same time this is happening, we go back to our friend Hunter B-15, who back in our second episode, the Rocks Cart episode, when she was enchanted and went by Sylvie when she was jumping bodies, when she was enchanted, Hunter B-15 remembered some of her previous life, because at this point Loki's also teasing Mobius with the fact that, you guys, the TVA are all variants who've been mind erased. Mind erased variants you all are. You know, the TVA didn't create you, you petty fool, you know. But, Hunter B-15, as she's handling, our friend Sylvie's expecting a fight, to the death because B-15 takes her back to the Roscart Nexus event. Says, oh, fair fight. All right, I can get with that. No, Hunter B-15 actually wants to know if that was bullshit. Was she actually enchanted, or did she actually have a life? And Sylvie goes right ahead and tells her, you know what? I'm sorry, Hunter B-15, but you actually did have a life, and unfortunately, the TVA took that away from you. I did gloss over an important part, which we're going to talk about right now. We get the origin of Sylvie in this episode, and it is not the Loki gives a girl Sylvie enchantress powers. She was actually just Lady Loki. She was born the goddess of mischief, and we see at the beginning of this episode Lady Loki, Sylvie, our friend, as a little girl, and she looks pretty much just like Loki, but just as a girl. And she's playing with her with a Viking ship on Asgard when the TVA raid her timeline and take her. And what ends up happening here is Judge Renslayer, back when she was just a hunter, takes her in front of the sacred timekeepers, at which point Kid Loki, Kid Sylvie, is able to escape. And basically what we find out in this episode, as she regales her tale to Loki, is that she spent most of her life running away from these people, And, kudos to her, because that's a fucked up scenario. And as we later find out in this episode, Judge Renslayer doesn't even remember why she was pruning Kid Sylvie, which is super fucked. And goddamn, those we get our first glimpse of the timekeepers at the beginning of this episode, and they look like fairly cosmic Kirby beings, what's Walt Simonson beings perhaps. Either way, they fit very much in the Thor omnibus of space characters. So, as we were saying before, B-15 totally believes Sylvie after she's shown her memories. In fact, one of the sad moments here is like, I looked happy. And she's like, yeah, I know, it's sad. And Hunter B-15 ends up leaving her in Judge Renslayer's office. But before we get to that, Mobius comes back after Lady Sif has been beating him up, and basically at one point in these beat 'em ups, and probably an infinite loop, and just as an aside, poor Loki, he gets stuck in these stupid loops over and over again, because we can remember in Ragnarok that he was falling for 30 minutes, but at this point he accepts that, yeah, he was just craving attention, he's a narcissist, and he's afraid he's gonna be alone. And Lady Sif just tells him, you're pathetic and you're always gonna be alone. Pathetic, sad. And he kind of comes to accept that at this point. But before that, Mobius had come in, and Loki's kind of like trying to say, dude, no, we're not working together. The TVA didn't create you, which gets inside Mobius's head, and they have this great conversation where Loki's basically just like, dude, you're I thought I was the biggest liar here, but the biggest liar is you, lying to yourself. And this was right before, Loki starts to kind of try to cover for Sylvie. He says, oh yeah, I met her on Asgard years ago. We had a plan. It's going along swimmingly. And Mobius is like, well, he had a plan. Unfortunately, we pruned that variant. Ugh, what? It destroys Loki. Oh, he's like, oh, good for her. And that's when Mobius realizes the red line is because this Loki wants that other Loki. And I didn't think they were going to go there, but clearly it seemed they are going there. And he realizes, oh shit, hooking up with yourself is a reality-destroying event. What are you doing, fuckhead? Anyway, he doesn't quite say that, but he's like, he understands. But basically, the idea that Loki's playing in his head that he might have been a real person really gets inside Mobius's head. He goes to visit Judge Renslayer, and they're kind of commiserating, like, oh yeah, guess what? The timekeepers, they want to see this this iteration, this Sylvie, pruned in person. And then, it's like, come on, cheer up, Mobius. Like, this is a career-making case. And, she's kind of telling him, if you could go anywhere in the world, where any time and place, where you go? And he's like, well, I can do that now. And he's like, no. And it's like, I'd be here doing the work. And, she kind of doesn't buy it, but, she ends up keeping this sword. She gets this sword. It's kind of like a trophy, and she's putting it away. And when she does that, Mobius, like, flips their temp pads, and he kind of sneaks away. And then he's able to look at the interrogation of Hunter C-20 by Judge Renslayer, and that's when we realize, yes, C-20 is dead, but unfortunately, guys, she's dead because she told the truth, that she, through her enchantment, saw she was a real person. She lived a life, and Judge Renslayer knows that and was covering it up. And at this point, this is when the conversation happens with Loki and the iteration of Lady Sif, where he's like, I am pathetic, and she's like, yes, you are, kind of accepts it. And then Mobius runs in there, and he's all like, Loki, are you lying, or what can you do? And then basically Loki's saying, dude, I'm not lying. TVA's bullshit. Timekeepers are bullshit. And he's like, but how can I trust a Loki? And then Loki's like, but you can trust a friend. Mobius and Loki, bromance. And right when they're gonna run off and kind of like try to find Sylvie, they open the door, and oh no, Judge Renslayer is there already. And it's kind of like, Owen Wilson, we loved you a lot. You're really good on this show, and I didn't think you were gonna go out this early. Shit. I think we'll probably see him again, but damn, I did not see that coming. And he ends up getting pruned when he speaks his mind, and he's like, you know what? I am a variant, and I had a life. And guess what? I probably had a jet ski, and that's all she wrote for Owen Wilson. And that's when we get, Sylvie and Loki. They're on their way to meet the Timekeepers. And they go there in, the regal presentation in their smoky room. And, they kind of speak their mind, and, it's like, I'll destroy you. And then, just Renslayer just playing with the zapper. It's like, and, Hunter B-15 goes and saves the day. What? Did we see that coming? Nope. For all time, always. She shows up. She turns off their collars, throws them a sword, and damn, she bolts. But damn, we end up getting one of the big reveals here that it felt like it was kind of coming. We all sort of saw it. Yes, the TVA, the Timekeepers, are bullshit. In fact, they're basically a Chuck E. Cheese band. They are animatronic androids, and damn, did not see that coming. We thought Sylvie took out Judge Renslayer at this point, but no, Loki beheads one of the Timekeepers, and the whole apparatus comes down. Unfortunately, we did not see the Wizard of Oz. We just saw the broken Chuck E. Cheese Showtime Pizza Big Band. Damn, that fucking sucked. And then, guess what happens? Loki and Sylvie are at their lowest point, and he's kind of like, oh man, what are we gonna do? And this felt very The Prisoner, Doctor Who, like, yeah, where actually are they going from here? And that's where Loki decides he needs to tell Sylvie something. Back on Lamentus, he's never felt this, but actually suddenly, and we never find out because Judge Renslayer kills Loki. She prunes him. What the fuck? What the fuck? This was literally my face. Oh! Yes, that was my face. That happened. What? And yeah, they Sylvie and Renslayer fight a little bit, and then Sylvie has the opportunity to prune Renslayer, and Renslayer's just like, do it. And Sylvie's like, no, you're gonna tell me everything. And that's the end of the episode. God damn, that was a crazy episode. But wait, there's more. That's right, we sit through a little bit of the credits, and there's welcome to Loki's first mid-credit scene in such the show that it's been running. And Loki wakes up and he says, am I dead? Is this hell? And I love how the the closed caption said H-E-L. Is this hell? For a second, I really thought Hela was gonna show up. I'd be like, you left me there with Surtur, you bitch. No. We wake up and we see buff Black Loki. We see Kid Loki. Kid Loki is right there, man. What the fuck? It's Kid Loki. And we see old Loki. It's Richard E. Grant. And he is wearing the fucking comic book Loki costume. like underwear. You know, with the huge yellow horns and the yellow and the green. The straight up 60s comic book Loki costume. You know, and he's like, come with us, you know, basically, if you want to live. And I'm like, this show's just going places, man. And that's it. That's the whole show. And all I could think is like, man, literally any single one of those things could have been a thing. Could have been a whole episode on its own. Like, this could have ended with, you know, the Lady Sif reveal, him in prison. This could have ended with Mobius dying. I mean, I don't know if he's really dead. I hope not. I have a feeling probably not, or we'll see the other variant of Owen Wilson in a happy timeline. I don't know. You know, I just want to get a wow at some point. That's all I'm saying. And my God, what's up with comic book Loki? Is this like a Deadpool break the fourth wall scenario? I mean, there's only 2 episodes left, and he's just showing up now. You know, is there really not a timekeeper? I mean, for a while I was just thinking the TVA was bullshit and the timekeepers were some kind of puppet authority, and the timeline was being trimmed in such a way to ensure the Kang the Conqueror would come to prominence. I still kind of think that might be the case, but, you know, is this like basically, oh, all the Lokis have to be pruned so they're thrown into some kind of junk dimension, kind of like what you know, the Grand Master was in like Thor Ragnarok, like a little pocket dimension where time moves differently. I don't know, because now I'm kind of thinking this is going to be like the Jerry Jamboree from Rick and Morty, where we're going to meet the island of misfit Lokis or something. Is there a grand Loki that's in charge of all this? I don't know, but yeah, we're really in Rick and Morty territory right now in this show. I'm just like really interested in where it's going. It seems like Sylvie is trying to still overthrow the Timekeeper, but who's really the Timekeeper? Does Renslayer know? She's clearly been before the Timekeepers before. At some point, she must have realized that, you know, the Timekeepers start rearing up for the show whenever a kid has a birthday party at Showbiz Pizza or something. I'm like, it's kind of obvious they're not real people or aliens, you know. Is she in on it? Is she Kang? I don't know. These are all things that I'm just like wondering right now. Yeah, I mean, she seemed fairly like happy to throw herself on her sword at some point. Maybe she is still connected to Kang and just lost her memory. I mean, who knows? We might find that out too. Because there's a lot of ways they can go with this, and there's only 2 episodes left. Like, if this much happened in episode 4, I can only imagine where, like, episode 5 is going. Like, my God, Jesus Christ, I don't know, something. But, yeah, this episode, and, you know, I just saw Black Widow. This blew Black Widow's ass away. 100%. This episode is better than the whole movie of Black Widow. I'm just saying, that mid-credit scene is better than the end-credit scene in Black Widow. 100%. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this, please leave some comments, because I want to talk about this some more. Jesus Christ, the Nexus event, we're going to talk about this. This is a big thing. You know, if you enjoyed my little rant here, please subscribe, give me a like, give me a ring, you know, check the bell icon, all that stuff, and we'll see you next week on Loki for episode 5. And all I can say right now is wow. All right, and one more time, wow. All right, we'll see you next time. Till next time,